runs right along behind
The trach, right?
the trachea. This is the esophagus. It's very spongy, it's very flexible because it expands, right? That's your esophagus. And what? I don't want to miss anything.
Esophageal hiatus.
The esophageal hiatus. So the esophagus runs right down under the trachea, right behind the heart, behind the lungs. And then the esophagus has to go to the stomach, which is right here, right? Which means it has to pass through the diaphragm. And the hiatus is where the esophagus passes through the diaphragm. So if we look where our esophagus is, it's way back here. This is our esophagus back here. Maybe you can see it on this side better. Or maybe not. So right here where it's coming, so this is the diaphragm, right? So right here is the esophagus coming through. Right here, that's all esophagus. So that space where it comes through the diaphragm, right here, is the hiatus. Okay? It goes to the stomach. The fundus of the stomach is this area right up here, right on top. The big part is the body, and then this little narrow part down here is the pyloric region of the stomach. Okay? The fundus up here, the body, and the pyloric. Okay? If you open up the stomach and you look inside, besides seeing some cat chow in there, those are all the rugae, all the folds. That allows for mechanical digestion and expansion. Okay? And if you feel where the esophagus meets the stomach, there's a hard ring right there. You guys should feel all this later, okay? That's the esophageal sphincter, or sometimes the cardiac sphincter, that's what that's called. And then down here, after the pyloric region of the stomach, there's another real hard ring right there, and that's the pyloric sphincter. Okay? And that helps to keep stuff in the stomach from going back up into the esophagus, and it regulates flow from the stomach into the small intestines. Okay? This big thing here, of course, is your liver. Okay? This is the falciform ligament, this thing right here that kind of anchors the liver in place. You can see it there, you can see it down here. Did I just rip it? No, I didn't. Wait, that's right there. It's the falciform ligament. It almost looks like it splits the thing in two. That's what holds it up there. Okay? The different lobes of the liver, you're not going to need to know the different lobes. Just know that it's a lobed organ. This little squishy dark area right here, that's the gallbladder. Right? The liver produces the bile, it's stored in the gallbladder. And then there are ducts. There are hepatic ducts, which are channels coming from the liver, right here, coming down. And then there's the cystic duct and the bile ducts, right here. And those unite in that green, see that greenish color thing right there? That's the common bile duct. It's green because bile has a green color. Okay, and that common bile duct, if you follow that down, okay, that comes down and enters into the duodenum. See where it comes in right there? It joins with the duct coming from the pancreas, and it all dumps into that very first part of the small intestines, which is the duodenum. It's about 4 inches, and it's this first kind of U-shaped area right here. That's duodenum. Okay? From the duodenum, we go to the very coiled looking, and it's really hard to move this because it's really stiff, jejunum. And then the final part is the final part is the ileum, which is this part. Right, so you have duodenum, jejunum, ileum, and you can tell where the ileum begins because you have this little blind pouch here. That's the cecum.
That's what I was looking for.
In humans, this is where our appendix would be. Okay, this is the ileocecal valve in here that regulates flow from the ileum into the large intestines, which is this right here. And if this were laying in the cat properly, kind of like that, okay, you would have an ascending branch of your large intestines, so it's coming up, a transverse over, and then the descending, which goes down to the rectum and finally to the anus. Okay, back up here On the stomach, you have, see this fatty,
Yep.
this fat here? This is part of what's called the lesser omentum. It's kind of like a fatty apron. And then this, all this gooey stuff down here. Okay, this is the greater omentum. Again, it's like a fatty blanket that lays over the intestines. Okay, so the lesser omentum is on the lesser curvature of the stomach, which is up here, the small curve. The greater omentum is attached to the greater curvature of the stomach, which is down here, the big curve. Okay? This organ right here looks like beef jerky. This is the spleen. Okay, it's not technically a digestive organ, but it's there, so we're going to identify it. And then running from the spleen under the stomach, what's left of it attaches over here by the duodenum. This right here is what's left of your pancreas. Again, the pancreas is very glandular, so it's kind of fragile, and the more people mess with it, the more it goes away.
That's under the duodenum, right?
Yep, but it runs from the spleen along the greater curvature of the stomach and over here onto the duodenum. Okay. Who else? In this.
We're on to the sheep part. From my notes, yeah, that would be the next lab.
Oh, good. All right. So there you go. Have fun. Thank you. It's all you.